I'm Madeline LaMura, and welcome to Last Lecture Series. Today, we're meeting with Devin Rossin, Honor Committee Chair for UVA. Welcome, Devin.
Hi.
So, first I'll ask, what is your major and how did you select it?
Sure. So my major is political and social thought. The reason why I selected it is probably not why most people select it. I had no idea that it existed until my second year, and I was kind of wandering around aimlessly. So I went to this medical high school, and it focused on medicine, so I did like 2 years of pathophysiology, a year of medical microbiology. I dissected cadavers, and I was sure that I wanted to be a doctor. So when I came to UVA, I thought, I'm just going to do this, take my MCAT. And I ended up taking intro bio with this professor named David Kittleson. And he started talking about Okazaki fragments and like DNA fragments, and I was like, I can't do this. Let's talk about presidents instead. So I wandered around aimlessly for about 2 semesters, not knowing what I wanted to major in. And a good friend of mine introduced me to PST. I wasn't actually making any progress towards a degree at the time, but I had a whole lot of classes that I was just interested in, and PST really affords you a large amount of leeway in taking whatever classes are interesting to you, the payoff being an 80 to 100 page thesis at the end of it.
Wow.
But I applied into it, spoke with the professor about it. It seemed like a perfect fit for what I was doing at the time, and for somebody who likes to do a lot of things, doesn't really like to have any concrete path. So,
What skills has PST granted you with leading the honor committee?
So I think that PST is pretty similar to student self-governance in that it allows you a high degree of self-determination. So whatever you want to major in, whatever you want your thesis to be on, you're totally free to do so. So my thesis is going to be on bail reform and why money bail may not be the best idea, moving more towards pretrial services. And it encouraged me to kind of blaze my own path and just take anything that's interesting to me. And it also put me in contact with a lot of other students. It's a 20-person seminar, and we all just sit around and talk about our ideas and critique each other and whatnot. And it allowed me to come into contact with a lot of ideas that I wouldn't otherwise be exposed to, dealing with different opinions, trying to find out what it was that I actually believed, and defending my own beliefs. And all of that helped out a lot with honor. At different points, especially in my first year, I questioned why I was part of honor in the first place. It was the same year that Martise Johnson was brutalized on the corner, who's a really good friend of mine. The year of Rolling Stone, and the year of Hannah Graham being abducted and killed. And I'm trying to grapple with the point of not lying, cheating, and stealing when you have all these horrible things that happen in the community.
Right.
So just having this ability to critically think and analyze what I thought was important and reach a conclusion that I may not have otherwise reached on my own, having those conversations with people in honor and outside of honor to kind of forge this notion of what I thought honor is and what honor should work and strive to be has really been completely invaluable.
That's an incredible path. So,
Yeah.
In addition to honor, what else have you done at the university, and how do you balance that schedule of classes with PST and these extracurriculars?
Sure. So my first year I got a little over-involved. I joined honor as a support officer. I joined UJC as a counsel, and I got involved with BSA for a little while. I was only involved with BSA for I think around a year. I became a part of UFUSE, which stands for United for Undergraduate Socioeconomic Development. My second year, remained in that until my third year. I was the outreach chair for that. And by virtue of UFUSE, I sat on the board of the Minority Rights Coalition. And I was also a member of the University Guide Service. So
That is a very busy schedule.
Yeah, it was. And the second half of the question was how I balance time, right?
Yes.
So my fourth year, towards the end of my third year, when I had to choose to run for something, I figured that it was time to kind of cut cords and whittle things down. So I let my UJC involvement go. I left from MRC when my UFUSE term expired, and I chose to run for one committee as a representative for the College of Arts and Sciences, and then as chair of the committee. And I just choose to whittle everything down and focus on the things that I thought were really important and that I can make a big impact on. So doing that for one, and going into this year, just a lot of self-care. So if I don't have a lot of time to do something, making sure that I'm comfortable delegating that off to somebody else, making sure that I'm concerned with things that I should be concerned about, and also having a team of great people around me who can pick up the slack when I can't. But in terms of self-care, taking a lot of naps, eating, having no classes, I used to not have class before 10 a.m., but now I do. It's at 9:30, it's rough.
Oh, that's
But just hanging out with friends and relaxing a little bit. I think the idea of taking a gap year is a little more relaxing than having to apply directly in the law school. So that's helping too.
So in addition to that piece of advice, if you were to be a professor at the university giving your last lecture in class,
Yeah.
what advice would you give your students based off of your experiences on grounds?
Sure. So when I first came to UVA, I didn't know what honor was. I had no idea what the rotunda was. I didn't know that Jefferson founded the university. I had no idea. I wanted to go to NYU, but it was too expensive. So I ended up coming here and finding out that this is, in many ways, a difficult place, but a place where anybody can really forge it into their own home. And I think that that separates UVA from any other institution. So making sure that students know that they can blaze their own path here. This is a place where no matter what your background is, and it can be uncomfortable here at different points, especially given the lack of diversity in different areas, but making sure that you know that there are people here that can support you, that will support you no matter what, and you can make this place into ultimately what you want it to be. This place is a wad of clay. It's up to you to form it into what you want it to be,
Right.
and there's amazing people here to support you in that effort.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for speaking with us,
thanks.
Devin. And thank you for watching this series of Last Lecture Series.